Okay, I think we'll begin. So I'm Eric Yeatman, I'm the chair of IX, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to this event, the IX Open Day. This is really our first IX Open Day of what we believe will become an annual event. Earlier last year, we had our launch event, that was in February of 23, and IX, I guess, started as a virtual organization maybe about 3.5 years ago, but became a kind of tangible organization when we moved into the beginnings of our space on level 5 here at the end of 2022, shortly before our launch. We've expanded up into this space, level 6, only a few weeks ago. I think this may be the first significant event in this room, actually. So it seems to be working well so far. You'll hear a bit more about that in a moment. So it's great to see you all here, and I hope you're going to enjoy the day. I'm going to say a little bit more about that in a moment, but first I want to tell you a bit more about IX, what it is, and what our aspirations are for IX. So we built IX around the broad subject of AI, machine learning, and associated topics like statistics, robotics, digital, Internet of Things, and so on. Now, these are things that are ubiquitous in university departments, particularly in a technical university like Imperial College. So IX is not where all the AI and related research in Imperial happens, far from it. There are hundreds of people working on these subjects in the college, on our main site in South Kensington, and different buildings here. But IX is a particular organization to bring together researchers in this field and in the related application domains, with a particular emphasis on interdisciplinary research and collaboration across the different activities and departments and faculties within Imperial, strong interaction with outside organizations, particularly companies, and I'm pleased to see that we've got a number of companies here with us today. A strong emphasis on innovation and entrepreneurship, and on elements like policy. So it's a test bed in some ways for doing things differently from what is done in the traditional university, and we've already started doing some of those things that we feel may then spread their way out to other parts of Imperial, or indeed other organizations entirely. We set it up here on the White City campus. Imperial has a number of campuses, but most of you will know our main campus has been on South Kensington since Imperial was founded back in 1907. We have other campuses mainly around our teaching hospitals, but this is our big, relatively new campus. I think we've been on this campus for about 10 years now, gradually building up, particularly on this north site, north of the A40. And you can see across the road there our south site, which is really under development, but is going to see a lot of growth in the next 4 or 5 years. We've got some big buildings planned there. So this is a great area to start an innovation activity like IX. It's a great place where we can co-locate with companies. So this building is primarily a commercial building. IX is the only academic activity in this building. Otherwise, it's all companies, startups, and so on. And the building you can see just here, Scale Space, is also primarily companies, both an incubator and somewhat more mature companies. I think there are something like 80 companies who have an activity in Scale Space. Also, the business school has some teaching space in that building. But there are lots of interesting buildings just around here on this site. We have the Biomedical Hub, the Michael Uren Hub. We have the School of Public Health just opening up on this site. We have the Institute of, what it's called, but the Molecular Science Hub, which is where most of our chemistry department is, which is literally the adjacent building. We have some postgraduate accommodation, and we have some other institutes like the Institute for Security Science and Technology. There are also a number of technology companies around here, partly because of the history of this site as being a BBC site. So there are companies in broadcast technology, satellite, and so on. So it's actually quite an interesting area. So I mentioned already we have the 2 floors, and you'll all get a chance to look around and see. We started originally IX as a collaboration between my own department, electrical engineering, and computing, and quickly expanded that to mathematics and the business school. So that was the initial core. But we now have permanent academic staff from 9 departments and researchers from 19 departments of the college. So almost the entire college is involved in some way or other with IX, which is great. We have some dedicated space for teaching, of which this is the most important, this big room. So the main way that we founded IX, apart from bringing together existing activities, was twofold. This space in the iHub building, where you are now, and the hiring of a significant number, almost 20 new academics into Imperial College. So mostly early stage academics, which we hired from all over the world. All have home departments. As mentioned before, we have about 9 home departments for these faculty, but they're physically based here. They have their research here, they have their students here, and they have some activities like undergraduate teaching back in their home departments. So most of them have just arrived within the last 2 years, and this is really the nucleus of an exciting new activity. These people are building up their research, building up their teams, building up their collaborations with others, and part of that is building up collaborations and interactions with our many guests like yourselves, and I hope you'll take the opportunity today to meet lots of people and to start building on collaborations you already have or looking at what new ones might be. The leadership team, myself, we have 3 co-directors, all of whom you'll see around here today, responsible respectively, Sophia for engagement, Chris over there for education, Peter for research, and we have Nick Jones who runs our collaborative program for fellowships in AI for Science, which is sponsored by Schmidt Foundation, and Anna is our operations manager. So if you want to corner any of us to ask questions, we're all here. Peter's just here. I think I've said all about that. So I mentioned just a moment ago Nick leading up this program. So one of the early successes which helped us expand the scope and impact of IX was a generous donation from the Schmidt Foundation, and this was to establish a fellowship program for AI in science. So this is specifically for researchers that want to take methods and tools from AI and machine learning and use those to make really radical advances in domain subjects within science broadly defined, so including engineering, and we've already appointed, most of these are 2-year fellowships. We appoint them in annual rounds, and I think we have about 30 already appointed and active. They also have home departments. They're based here. They interact with each other and then more broadly. And this is part of there are 9 of these programs around the world, I think 5 in the US, 1 Canada, 2 in the UK, and 1 in Singapore. And so this has been a great opportunity for us to have interactions with a lot of top institutions like ourselves in this subject area. We're looking at a variety of education and training programs. So we have a special doctoral program we're just getting underway, which is a PhD startupship, where students will do a PhD that's designed from the onset to lead to an enterprise of some kind. And we're building in some entrepreneurial training for that. We've already started doing some executive education programs. We've given some here in the site in the last few months, and we're open to developing those collaboratively. One of the things we want to do with IX is to co-develop, co-create both research and education programs with our various partners. So if you have an interest in something, we're very open to discussing how we can tailor something, especially for you. And so, for example, we've done some one-day exec ed already, which were designed around a particular partner's interest or requirement. Our biggest educational program is the MSc that's just about to begin in October. So this is an MSc in AI Applications and Innovation, so it has a strong business and entrepreneurial flavor. There are a number of MScs in Imperial College related to AI or machine learning, in my own department, in computing, and in other departments. And so this is not meant to kind of compete with those, but to offer something a little bit different from what you find in the regular offering. So we are expecting an initial cohort of about 25 students this year, and then growing to about 80, 90 students. So I think this is a really exciting and unique program, and maybe some of you or some of your colleagues might be interested in looking at this as something you might like to do. It's a 1-year, 12-month program. We have an IX business partner scheme. We have many ways of interacting with other partners, including companies, but one of the ways is our business partner club, where we have just started relatively recently, and we then have quite an intimate collaboration with those companies. So initial companies, Flawless and Fetch AI. think are both present here today. And so we have some co-location with them. We provide some student work with and for them, and some consultancy for them. Anybody's interested in possibly participating in that arrangement, do speak to us during the day, and we can put you on that track. Research engagement, we will have, as I say, we have the MSc, so there will be about 25 projects. We'd like to place a number of those in industry, so that will be probably starting from early next calendar year and running through the summer. So if you want to sponsor one of those projects and help to design it, we're very interested in doing that with you. And a whole other range of, we're very open, as I say, it's an experimental organization, so we're very open to looking at different ways of interacting with you. We've already had lots of achievements. We've recruited a great group of academics and quite a diverse group of academics, as you may have seen in the photo earlier. Already secured over 50 million in research grants, which is fantastic. We launched the Women in AI Network. We've just recently launched an affiliate scheme, which is for members of Imperial who are not based at IX but want to have a closer relationship with IX without actually physically moving here. We've done a lot with policy, so Imperial College has a policy forum, and we regularly have visits from government. We've had a visit recently from DSIT, Department for Science, Industry and Technology, I think they're currently called, and a couple of others. And we've done some work with working towards and assisting with policy in the whole AI area. And again, that's something that we welcome the opportunity to do collaboratively with our partners. Lots of visits from international organizations, universities from around the world, governments from around the world, looking at what we're doing, seeing whether they have something they can be inspired by. I think we'd be happy to share these slides if later if anybody asks for them. So do ask. And so I'll just finish with saying a little bit about what we're going to do today. You've hopefully all got the program. If not, there are lots of programs available on the registration table as you came in. We have a couple of keynote lectures. One is immediately following my introductory remarks now, and that's going to be given by Stefanos Zafiriou. We have a second keynote in the afternoon from Daniel Ruckert, and then we have two roundtables, and of course we have the demos, the posters and everything else. But we hope within that structure there'll be lots of opportunities for you to meet each other, exchange ideas, meet people from IX, talk about how you might do things together in the future. In terms of practicalities, we were oversubscribed for this event, which is great. We chose not to have a hard cutoff when we reached the maximum, so it does mean that we may have some portions of the day where this room overflows, in which case we have an overflow room and you'll be able to listen and watch from there. Apologies in advance if that seems a bit extreme, but you can never be quite sure how many of the registrants are going to turn up, and we thought better to keep it open and admit as many people as possible. So if it gets a little crowded, we'll cope, but it should be okay. Now, housekeeping. I don't know if I have somebody here who can. Yeah, emergency exit is over there. Excellent. Okay. We are not expecting any test alarms today. We have a lot of test alarms in other events. So if you hear an alarm, it's a real alarm. So follow the fire exit signs as indicated. The washrooms are where the lifts are. In the lift lobby, you'll see a sign leading to the facilities, and that's on every floor. You can get in, I believe, to level 5 without swipe access. Now you're in the building. If you go out to the lift lobby and down and back, if you try to do it going down the stairs, you'll need swipe access, so you have to go with somebody from IX, otherwise you'll get trapped. You won't get trapped in the stairs, I don't think, but you won't be able to necessarily get into the other floor. So those are my introductory remarks. I'm happy to take a couple of questions if anybody has any. Otherwise, I think we're almost ready to hand over to, it depends whether our speaker has arrived or not. Does anybody know whether Stefanos has appeared yet? We're a little early for that. Anyway, and does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me about the day or about IX? Yeah, he's here. Good. It's early in the morning, I know. Well, have a great day. I'm sure you'll see and hear lots of interesting things, and meet lots of interesting people. I'm now going to hand over to Nick, who will introduce the next session and our speaker.